We're back here. Second hour main event. Wednesdays means Mike Sheahan, head coach, Scottsdale Christian Academy, coming up in just a second. But first, I wanted to say Robert said Coach Sheahan's going to give us a breakdown of the game on Monday night. Well, yeah, we'll ask about that. Let's do it. Mike Sheahan's up next. The 3-0 Scottsdale Christian Academy Eagles. Mustache is doing its thing. Mike, how you doing, man?
How are you guys today?
Are we going to have to see that thing the whole season?
I think so. Like, what's funny is, like, I'm not even looking at anything. I'm just looking at Dale's reaction when my video pops up, and just like his utter disgust.
You look like you lost a little bit of weight, though.
I have. I've gained a little bit back this week. It's been a good week of eating, but otherwise, I'm down a little bit. When the scoreboard doesn't work and you're stressing about stupid stuff, that's what happens.
I was driving by there last night. Took my grandson to football practice. It was working last night.
Oh yeah, this is the first night we had a JV game last night, and honestly, it's better than I actually expected. It's awesome. It is actually legit. It's probably the biggest one in the state, which is crazy that we have it, and it's pretty cool. Like not live video, but a bunch of videos and scoreboards working well, and the music is good. And I was running the 2s and 3s on it, so it was obviously well done last night.
Wow. I remember that first home game. People were like, "Start the clock," and then I heard that. Then I heard that because they had a temporary one out there. And then I heard the guy come down that was running, and he goes, "It keeps freezing. I don't know what else to do." He was like telling some other parents and everything.
Yeah, it was a rough. We tried to rush it in that first week because we had got it, I think, the Friday before off the boat, honestly, and it was just a rush to kind of get it done. Didn't get done, but it's done now. It's done now. How come Steven, your name's totally capitalized? And Dale and I's are not. Is there something about that?
Yeah, power play.
Just look at the top of the screen here too.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's why, Mike, right there. That's why.
Like, just Stephen McCollum.
Yeah.
And then
I don't
Dale and Mike.
I don't know who developed these 3 years ago when we came. We're redoing all of our stuff because it's funny you call me out on that because actually it bothers me and it's been bothering me for a long time.
Oh,
and so we're working on new intros and stuff like that. And
he's been working on
It's supposed to be Big C, Little C, Big C.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's been working on it for 2 years, working on it. Yeah, All right, hey, let's go back to last week. It's always a trepidatious week for you as the school goes up for retreat. You don't get to have regular practices. I don't even know what to. First of all, tell us what your practices were like last week, if any.
It's honestly like the most frustrating thing as a coach. It's probably amazing as a player, right? So it's we had because we go up to Lost Canyon, which is awesome. Go to a retreat up there and lots of worship, lots of like amazing stuff for the school. Football wise, it's not necessarily the best. We had a practice Monday night. And then Tuesday, we had one in the morning before school, which is hard to get those in because they went up to retreat Tuesday night. We had nothing after Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. Thursday, we were given an hour to kind of have a walkthrough practice, and it's on a grass field. You were not allowed to bring cleats up there. But what we did is instead of having practice, we had a shelter in place because of all the lightning. Oh. So we had 0 practices up there. So I went up there, and my job up there is just to make sure our kids aren't acting a fool or being, they're actually great kids. I don't have to worry about it this year.
Yeah, years past you've had problems.
It was actually a nice time for me this year. It wasn't the most stressful. But we'll go up there and kind of do lots of fellowship, all that stuff. The bad thing about that is, one of the things that comes with going to retreat is they all come back sick because they live in the bunks, they live in the dorms, they're in there with 12 kids. Weirdly, these kids like sleep in the same bunks, like not even the same, like not the separate level bunks. Like they'd love to snuggle up. So whatever that is, anyways, no judgment.
Move on.
They're high school boys, right? But they're so I bring up like tons of vitamin C. I get those vitamin packs, and every meal I'm passing them out. They're eating vitamins, and there's still a couple kids that got sick last week, but we got through it pretty well, better than we have in the years past. And honestly, it might have been, I hate to say this. I'm going to hate to say this as a coach. It's going to be something hard to say. It might have been good for him to get some rest because we came out on Saturday because the game got moved to Saturday because of retreat. And the kids had some energy, man. They were not necessarily being nice. They were a really physical football team, and we kind of came and hit them in the mouth. And our boys took pride in a lot of pancake blocks and the way they were hitting and the way they were playing. So I think maybe the break was good for him as a young man.
And no,
it's hard. Yeah.
And no weird injuries. It seems like for about 10 years in a row, somebody came back with an injury that from goofing around doing something.
They're on the boys team, no, but the girls flag football team had like 2 twisted ankles from literally setting up like games. They do a survivor type thing, and they got twisted ankles from setting up games. So we didn't get the injury bug this time there, but the school did. We did have one of our players go down a day before on Monday, unfortunately for the season, but that was before retreat. So.
Okay, and you played Bourgade.
Yep.
They were
2-0 and tough kids.
Another shutout for Paul Clark and his boys.
No, he didn't get the shutout.
No.
It was one of those games. I absolutely respect to the coach over there at Boulder. Sorry, I keep saying Boulder Creek. I'm used to Boulder Creek, but Brigade. They were 2-0. They're a good football team. I think we just kind of came ready to play. We played a lot. We had a lot of kids play that night. So we wanted to make sure that we got a lot of depth and get a lot of stuff going on, because just like what happened with Veritas last year, we try to get these kids as much as possible. So, shutouts are cool, but shutouts aren't cool to do to high school kids all the time either, because they're out there working all week and they're working their butts off. It's hot out, and, they're playing. We're pretty good. We're pretty good 2A team, and we want to respect the game and respect the kids on the other side. Played some younger kids. They got a touchdown. We didn't get a shutout, but who cares, right? That's why I keep telling Coach Clark, it's great to have that. But at the same time, we're working with young men, and if we can help build some more on the other side of the field from us, that's what we should be trying to do too.
Yeah, no, I didn't think you were trying to run it up. I just saw like 56 to nothing.
No,
But
55-7. They scored late, right? I haven't made it through all the game film yet, but yeah.
Yeah, they scored late. We had 3 special teams touchdowns. So Dale, you can respect that. Dominic Dickerson took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. And then they went to punt their first time. Bad snap. It was not a Hellestrae snap. Bad snap. Rolled back there. Kid picks it up. Punts it maybe 8 yards. Doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Luke White, our defensive end, catches it, goes and scores. So that's the second. So we were up 14-0 with I think a minute 30 into the game. And then we had another special teams touchdown. Dominic Dickerson. They had a punt. We were yelling poison. He saw an opportunity because everybody slowed down. Ball hopped right into his hands, and the kid so fast just took off and went and scored 2. So 3. We were trying to run it up. I think we only had like 24 plays of offense. We only threw the ball 4 times. We wanted to work on our run game last week, and we were able to do that. It was nice. Defense played well too.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my big question here. Looked like running game was your motif. I made it through about just after halftime here on the game film there, but it looks like running was a fact. Was that just a strategy going in? Was it because you had such a big lead and obviously, get to the running clock and, not run it up type of a situation? What was the philosophy behind that?
I think a little bit of both, right? So it's like one of those things where Everett Salazar is such a hard worker. He's played 2 of the better defenses against the run the first 2 weeks of Pima and Tonopah. Like Tonopah, right, whatever you want to say about Tonopah, they're tough kids and they're tough. They run that 46 defense. It's hard to run the ball. So I feel like Everett, I think he's got 6 or 7 touchdowns now, but he's had to really, it was like 50 yards. He was able to go for like 110. So we want to give Everett he's still got his sea legs from his injury, last year. Want to get him some more carries, kind of get him up over 100, get him some touchdowns, work on the run game. We're working on a little bit more of a spread run game. So instead of staying so condensed, we're kind of spread it out because our wide receivers are well, and kind of pick your poison. We can RPO off the stuff. So the RPO was the handoff this week because of how they were playing the wide receivers. But I think we're just trying to get the run game going a little bit more than we had the last couple of weeks.
Really quick, I have to do a production thing here. Hey, Kobe, in the email, there should be a picture in there. If you could grab that and let me know when that's ready. Stay tuned for this. Stay tuned for this.
That sounds like
the second thing is
up, Dale.
What do you have to do? What do you have to do as a head coach when you're running the ball a lot and all of that stuff Do you have to talk to the quarterback and the receivers? Any divas on this team that you have to talk to where they're kind of disappointed after the game? They didn't get a lot of opportunities.
You know, you usually have to, but I was very happy with this team. I was very actually Sean only threw the ball 4 times,
Yeah.
but actually we do these things called crosses, right? So we put crosses in the back of our helmets for good plays, good attitude, not necessarily for stats, but for just doing the game right. And we gave Sean an extra cross. It's like the Buckeyes that the Buckeyes
Yeah.
get for the Ohio State. So we do a cross, and I gave Sean one just for poise and for like continuing to go. When he was only throwing the ball 4 times, he was still just as excited to hand the ball off, right? So it was our wide receivers. One of the emphasis that we're working on. The week prior against Tonopah, they blocked really bad. And honestly, if you don't like, hey, no block, no rock, right? So you don't get the ball unless you block. So our biggest thing was we were talking about trying to get the trying to get the wide receivers to block a little bit better. And that was an emphasis of this game. And I think the boys just, it was a team win. And I love that we spread the ball around a lot. If you look at our touchdowns, it's everybody. If you look at our wide receivers catching the ball, it's like 6, 7, 5, 4, 3. It's not like last year was like 42 and 13. We're spreading the ball around a little bit. It's a little team atmosphere, and we didn't really have any divas. They were more excited about their blocks than they were about trying to get catches, which is we have that going on. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Sean was 2 for 4, 64 yards, two receptions. Kyle Olafson, 1 catch, 36 yards, and then Caleb Murphy, 1 catch, 28 yards in a touchdown. Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to be upset if you perform that way with limited touches, but yeah. Hey, really quick
it's a bummer.
Before we go anywhere else,
too. Yeah.
Next time Dale makes fun of you about his mustache, I'm going to send you this here. Just check this out here.
Oh yes, dude.
There we go. That's a mustache. You can see it.
That's called the catfish. That's called the catfish. Look at how it comes around the lips right there. Like
yeah,
right there.
Yeah, but that was back in that was back in the early '90s when mustaches were in. Not 2025.
Like was that taken in Maricopa County Courthouse?
Yeah.
What is that? Where is that?
I said, hey, can I get my jersey before you process me?
I don't even think that's fully grown in. It looks a little patchy there and stuff. I don't know.
There's the whole middle's missing right there. That's weird.
I gotta thank Robert. Robert sent that in Twitter.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, that is amazing.
It's like I tell the young kids, remember when you got all these pictures on your phone, internet lives forever. You make a stupid face, and somebody will pull that up 40 years later. So
yeah, it's warranted. It's warranted.
All right, I didn't mean to get away from the thing, but that was sent in. We had to address that situation.
Before we move on to this week, you mentioned JV played last night. To talk about a little bit about that game and your young guys and how they're coming along.
Honestly, it's awesome. I think our young guys are coming along well. We played Gilbert Christian, which is a division up within us, last night, and we won 46-7. The kids played really well. We only ran out, I think, maybe like 22, 23 kids, and we're trying to – it's almost – we got a little bit better of a split of varsity and JV nowadays, but at the same time, like these JV kids, these younger kids, we all practice together all week. So they're practicing against varsity, and they're practicing against our dudes every week. So I feel like – their skill level has really grown this year. So when they get into these games with the kids their own age, like I feel like their game speed's a little bit faster than theirs. They might not be as big or as fast, but I feel like the way they're having to play the game and practicing against our varsity, and honestly, like the secondary for JV has to go against probably one of the best 2A wide receiver groups. And it's only going to make them better. And then our defensive line has to go against our offensive line and linebackers. So I feel like I'm really proud of the JV kids. They have a good time. JV football is one of the most fun things to watch. It is a blast, right? Like there's so many messes, and then there's something good, and then there's a mess, and then there's something good. But the effort that the boys had and just our team speed compared to Gilbert Christian last night, I felt like it was a little bit better than Gilbert Christian's. And I'm super happy to see that, because these young boys work hard, and they get to pay off. They got different, I think 3 or 4 kids scored touchdowns, 3 or 4 interceptions. We kept the penalties low for a JV game, which is tough, usually that's the problem. And they don't get a lot of time to break up. So we practice as a team, and then JV never really gets a lot of time to be cohesive. They kind of break up the day before. run their offense and go into the game. But I think they're doing pretty well, and the program's in a good spot with these young boys.
You want to mention their head coach? Is he doing an okay
Yes,
job,
yes.
or is it just all the
Yeah.
kids?
No, it's like I don't like to mention myself. Yes, Coach Taylor is doing an amazing job, which is happens to be Hellestrae's son-in-law. Coach Taylor's doing an awesome job. Good thing about Alex is honestly he's like locked into what he's doing, and he cares about these boys and he loves these boys. He's not that football coach that's kind of come out here to get his like. He's not worried about himself being 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-0. It's never about him, man. He loves these kids. He's the one that's staying after practice, getting the extra work. Like he's a great head coach, man. Once he gets his like full opportunity, I hope I can hand it off to him someday because he's awesome. He is. And then Austin Salazar, and then we got a new coach too, but Austin Salazar, which is Everett's brother, is helping Alex, and that combo, they're like Mutt and Jeb. I think they're awesome together, and they got those guys going, and they're becoming more physical and faster, and at the same time just having a great time.
So I'm assuming they're undefeated as well this year.
They are.
So-
I
so-
think the program as a whole has given up 13, 20 points total in 5 games, and I think we're over like 300 points scored. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
and they were undefeated last year as well. So
Yep.
right there. So
Yep.
Robert also likes your no block, no rock. Like
Yeah,
saying
right.
as well.
Yeah,
so.
that's what it is. No block, no rock. If you can't block for the dudes that are trying to get it open, get you guys open by having a good run game, then we're not throwing you the ball. That's just the way it is. Cool thing about SCA is like we might have divas, but they get grounded really quick because like it's a team game, and I feel like if you can buy into the team, it helps so much more.
So we don't spend a lot of time talking about your defense here. So just real thing here. On I've noticed with the last 2 away games on the other side of town, so my car can't make it. But the man, your
Is it back from
defense
Mexico? Is your
just
car back from Mexico?
we need charging stations for me to get there. But the problem is Saturday night, I was like, I'm gonna go out there, and I was like, man, this ASU game's huge. I got to watch this on a big screen.
Oh, you got to watch out.
Not on my phone, because I was like, I do it on my phone. But your defense hits hard. They fill those holes. If somebody gets into the open field, they're following. Their pursuit is good and things like that. Talk a little bit about your defense and what they're doing out there. In these first 3 games.
I think, well, first of all, I need to make sure I talk about the coaches. They'll call me out, but Coach Clark does an amazing job with the defense coordinator for varsity. He's in tune with everything. He's a militant guy. He's a military guy. So he's got them in tune. I am the one thing I was a little bit worried about going into the season was the defense, and it's actually the least of my worries right now. I think the last 2 teams we played have given us a compliment about being very physical. And if you can take that, that's probably one of the biggest compliments a program or a coach can get, is talking about how like physical your defense is. Everybody has a hard time trying to find a weakness in it. Now there are weaknesses, right? They're high school kids. They're going to make errors. But their effort makes up for those errors. These kids are flying around as fast as possible. They celebrate each other. It's not one kid trying to get 100 tackles and worry about his stats. They are so excited for each other, and we got 11 kids that are playing pretty well together. My biggest compliment to our boys, obviously physicality. Second biggest compliment is our communication. So our communication is actually huge. Our safety from Caleb Murphy down to Martine. Martine gets everything down to the defensive line. The defensive line is tapping their helmets, knowing what we got. We're pretty complex for 2A. Decent amount of blitzes, decent amount of coverages. We switch into a 3-man front to a 4-man front from an over to an under. So I think they've done a great job of being mentally in tune on this team. And I think our defense, Coach Clark kind of prides himself. He wants to have the best defense in 2A. And then when we put the backup kids in, he wants that to be the second best defense in 2A. So I feel like these kids are working their butts off, and the mental part of the game, they're really clocked into. They get about an hour and a half of film by Monday every week, and it's not on our film. We make sure they're watching the opponents and know their opponents, and I think that's huge. And I think the boys are pretty bought in right now.
Coach Clark is militant and in the military, isn't he? That's how you started us
Yeah,
off. He
he
is
was-
militant and he's in the military.
Yeah, so he was a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
So he was a Navy SEAL. So SCA is a great place, but we got to make sure he doesn't tell all his stories. It's one of those things.
It's kind of interesting. Can you imagine him in a wetsuit? I mean,
not anymore. But I'll tell you what.
Dale said that, Coach. Dale said that.
I know, it's okay. I'll tell him, man. I love, he has this belly on him. And it's okay. We'll be having, when you got to get back behind the line, he'll be back behind the line. One of my favorite jokes is hey, your belly's got to come too.
Yeah.
He'll be standing there. His feet will be in the coach's box, but his belly is almost into the field. So I always got to tell him to watch out for the ref. But that dude, he's awesome. He's been a friend of mine forever. He's another Kingman guy, which, we don't like to say that very often, but he cares about the kids, does a great job. But yeah, he was a Navy SEAL, and he's got some great stories. He had a great story about, if we got a second, talked about, because we had a retreat last week, right? So we talked to the boys. He talked about when he had a lieutenant one time come talk to him when they were on a mission. It didn't matter how tired you are, if you had 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 7 hours, 8 hours. As soon as that door opens on the helicopter, you got to be ready to fight, right? So you jump out, you don't have time to wake up, right? So he told the whole story about a lieutenant came and talked to his platoon, and he kind of talked to the boys. We were going to retreat the whole time, but as soon as you open up the helicopter door, you got to be ready to go. You can't land and take your time to get ready, because that's how you lose. That's how you die in war, right? So it's he put that together, and he's awesome, man. The stories are awesome, and he's a great dude for us.
Who do you got this week? Before we let you go,
Glendale Prep, which is a good football team. They're extremely well coached. They got, I would say, across the board, they've got the best athletes that we're going to see so far after the first 4 games. Really good coach team. Great kids too. I've met a couple of them over the years, and super good kids, hardworking kids. We did 7-on-7 against them. I think in January, and they're hyped up to play us. They're excited. They're a really good football team.
Well, they're 2-1 coming into this year, into the game on Friday night, right? And you're back home, scoreboard maybe, but you're back home as well.
Hey, I hope it works, like I said, or you'll be holding a little flipper.
Yeah.
So it's one of the
I got bad news for you. You're going to have to win without me this week, because I got I have a senior, and he's got an ROTC senior thing out there in Queen Creek.
Well,
so
fun.
I got to go to
That's
that
awesome.
again this week here. So, but so hey, first home game I haven't been in 2 years, Dale. So
Well, great. Now we're gonna lose, right?
Pressure's on is all I'm going to say. Yeah.
And if Chambers did want me to give the breakdown of the Bears game, Bears won for 3 quarters, sucked for 1, and that's what happens in the NFL.
Well, that's what I tweeted at you when you came at me. I said, man, I felt like they took their foot off the pedal. What's your opinion on that as a Bears fan? I thought they were we've won this. It's a team. They dominated it, and they were we've won this. We don't have to do anything else. And then, of course, they got come back on. That was my thought on it. Your thoughts?
I think the more cohesive team won, and the team that had 14 wins last year just knows how to win, and the Bears didn't know how to finish. So I feel like the Vikings just kind of put it together at the end, started doing the right thing. There was a couple phantom really bad calls, like the holding call on Darnell Wright.
Yeah. That
was extremely bad. That was a scoring drive. And then the hands of the face on 3rd and forever, which wasn't hands of the face, is in his chest. There's a couple bad calls, but you know what? If you're 14 wins the year before, and the NFL's, partly scripted. So if they want the Vikings to win, they're trying to do it. So, I mean, the Cowboys won a couple in a row.
Wow.
They're worried about Netflix specials in, 2025.
Mike's onto something.
Yeah.
Dale makes fun of me. He's like, WWE's the stupidest thing on the planet. It's all fake. And I go, it's not any more fake than the NFL is.
So when's the NFL going to say, hey, they said in 85, we'll let the Bears have their year? When's the next time they're going to do that?
That's hilarious, because Holly and I were legit talking about that, because she's like, oh, it's all scripted, which is, people believe that, people don't, whatever it is. I said that same thing. I said, the Bears are a great franchise. They've got a great following. Why are they not in the script? And she brought up a good point, which is crazy. We talked about it, I think, yesterday or Sunday or whatever it was. She said, because people will like the Bears no matter what. They don't need to be scripted into the program. No matter what, it's like the Cubs and the Bears will stay at the forefront. They'll always have the fans. They don't need to be in the script. Who cared about the Chiefs for a long time? Now the Chiefs are one of the best teams. Who cared about the Patriots for a long time? Now the Patriots a long time. What about the Packers and the Bears and the Cowboys? Now that it's scripted, I really don't think so. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying.
Well,
if it were scripted, why even do those teams? Because they're going to have the fans anyway.
I've actually argued that the Major League Baseball has a problem because the Cubs won that World Series. Like, their fan base has completely changed since they won it. They're not the lovable losers anymore.
Mike, were you
stuff like that?
Were you alive in '85?
Yes, I was alive in '85. I have the whole DVD set. I watched.
Well, the DVD set's different. Your parents could have bought that.
Yeah, I know why. I went to the Fiesta Bowl luncheon, 3 weeks ago? Jim McMahon talked. It was awesome. It was a good little talk.
Did you fanboy him? Did you go up and give him a hug?
I went and shook his hand, but I shook his hand about something, not about football. That's all.
Okay.
So it was something else.
Well, we got to do something. So the team guys that watch this, your dad that watches this, and everybody and the coaches that watch this, think of something to do a bet here where when it comes true, you have to do the Super Bowl shuffle in front of everybody, and let me know when that is so we can record it. That's all.
We win again. If we go for a three-peat, which is probably the hardest thing in sport, which everybody knows, I will do the Super Bowl shuffle, but there's no way in heck I'm doing it prior because that just creates bad juju. But if we win, if we're blessed to be able to do that, which it's going to be the hardest road, it's going to be harder than any other year, which is how it happens. I'll do it after that, but we'll see. That's a long ways away. I don't know if I'm gonna have to worry about it. Odds are in my favor to not do it. But we'll see what we got.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but '85 is my rookie year, and our first preseason game was against Chicago. Yeah. And I'm out there playing against a lot of these dudes, and I'm like, if this is what the NFL is like, I don't belong here. Only find out
I couldn't imagine.
Only to find out that, no, they were a pretty special group, but not everybody was the '85 Bears. So
yeah, but that's a tough first one because in the preseason the guys played more, right?
Yes.
They didn't sit them out. It was real football back. Right. They weren't messing around. There was no series on, series off type thing. Yeah.
I could only imagine Dale's ready to hang up. He's like he's calling back home, going,
calling Dad.
Yeah, get that room ready. I'm coming home.
Here's my jersey at halftime. Richard, Dan, Steve McMichael, all these. You're good. You guys can deal with them.
Well, Coach, Glendale Prep this weekend, back at home. Hopefully the scoreboard's working. I'll be paying attention to it from afar, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You have an awesome week, all right?
All right, you too, man. Thank you very much. And, of course, everybody else.
You too, Dale.
Oh, yeah. I talked over him. Sorry about that.
You just talk over. He doesn't have anything good to say.
Come on back, folks. Dale's taking off to play some golf. I'll get you through. Day baseball, Diamondbacks. We just got the lineups up. I just retweeted that for you. And we got some other odds and ends I'll go through here. So come on back. It's the main events.